Trump is in England and he is being trolled mercilessly by the Brits, and I love it. Let's watch this.
We see that tower behind me there, Tom, currently white. Just a few moments ago, protesters, anti-Trump protesters from the hotel opposite, we think, managed to project some images on there. And what were they of? As you can probably see from some of these pictures, Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, that could not be a little more tricky and difficult just moments after Donald Trump arrived here. So, yeah, you couldn't really call it a security breach necessarily, but in terms of the diplomacy and laying on the charm, I'd say that was a bit of a massive failure. Let's just talk about tomorrow.
Okay, so they're putting up the picture that Donald Trump drew of the girl where he was talking about their secret and the enigma, talking about how Epstein said in 2019 Trump was his best friend. So Trump thinks he's getting away from this, but he's not, because the UK just fired the ambassador to the United States over his connection with Epstein. So they are taking action while we're running around and Kash Patel saying no evidence exists. They're taking it to the next level. And I say, good. And before he left, Trump basically told John Carl he wanted him to be arrested, who, you know, John Carl is an ABC News reporter. He's also a weekend anchor. And he asked a question, and here was the response.
And what do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, I mean, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
Should probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech. So maybe they'll have to go after you. Look, we want everything to be fair. It hasn't been fair. And the radical left has done tremendous damage to the country. But we're fixing it. We have right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. And now Washington, D.C. is fixed, and I fixed it. The mayor was fine.
Okay. So here he is. I fixed DC, which is I alone can fix it, is his narcissistic tendency coming out. ABC should have never caved to him on that 16 million, but he is all in on Pam Bondi. And now she's saying hate speech. He's going further because you're not nice to me, Jonathan Carl. Your network's not nice to me.
This should be reported as what a weak titty baby this man is. He was asked a question. All presidents are asked questions, and you can sit and tuck your tail between your legs and answer them like a man, or you can be a pussy like he is. And this just gets reported over and over that somehow he's being a tough guy because ABC hurt his feelings, so he had to sue him. And all of these people that are playing the short-sighted game and obeying in advance. I'm talking about Harvard, I'm talking about ABC, these law firms and others that obeyed in advance are disobeying the number one rule to fighting fascism. The number one rule is never obey in advance. And they're obeying to a man that just got that triggered by a press poll reporter asking him a pretty legitimate question. And he pitched a fit. If my child pitched a fit, if he was in a position where he was supposed to be accountable, and my child was asked a question like that, like on a sporting team, and spoke back to his coach like that, they would be grounded. This childlike, petulant, sophomoric, ridiculous, weak behavior is so mainstream now. And what shocks me about this is how every headline isn't more like, president is such a weak pussy.
Absolutely, because like you said, presidents are criticized. I've never heard a president say, I'm a victim, everybody's against me, but he does it all the time. And then here he goes, this makes me wonder, who is running the country? I mean, I think it's Stephen Miller, but who is running the country? Because here is a question that he's asked regarding genocide in Gaza, and he doesn't know.
Israel is guilty of genocide and have committed acts of genocide in Gaza.
They voted on that?
They have a new report out saying multiple acts of genocide.
When it comes to a vote, we'll see what happens. That'll come to a vote, so we'll see what happens.
And what do you make Pam Bondi?
So he doesn't know.
He's tapped out. He is tapped out. This man is tapped out. He is interested in his plane. He's interested in decorating the Oval Office. He's interested in building his ballroom. He has never been interested in policy. Famously, from Trump 1.0, we know he's lazy, not curious at all, a known, confessed non-reader. And there are other people, darker forces, like we have an episode that came out 2 days ago about Stephen Miller. And then when you get one notch past Stephen Miller, as dark and maniacal as that man is, it gets worse when you arrive at the company Palantir. And now there's even more wealth consolidation and more media conglomeration with Larry Ellison of Oracle now wanting to take over CNN. And so he doesn't give a shit about anything. He didn't even care to go to Charlie Kirk's Washington, D.C. vigil. And Hyde and watch, I'm going to make a prediction right here. They're going to have that big funeral for Kirk in Arizona. Hide and watch. This MFer will get out there and start speaking, and it will turn into a 1 to 2 hour campaign style rambling of his grievances. He will go off prompter and it will be the same shit. And not one person will say, well, that was disrespectful. Not one person will say, well, that's weird. And interestingly, I read today that Eric Trump said, yeah, Charlie Kirk was like a second son to my dad. And it's like, dipshit, you're the second son. You're the second one. So now it all makes sense as to why Kanks doesn't give a shit that Charlie Kirk was shot, because a reporter asked him about it. And he said, oh, I'm good. Look at my ballroom. The trucks are starting over here. They're all finding out what a malignant narcissist is, because if they think he's going to go up to this funeral and put on some, this was the speech of our lifetime. It is going to be a nonstop grievance fest. This is just my prediction. We'll circle back here and watch it. I hope I'm wrong, but I guarantee you I won't be. He won't be able to help himself.
No, he can't. He can't. He has to. Here's
Russia, Russia, Russia. I bet that is said. I guarantee you it will be said.
What do you think the odds of Barack Hussein Obama?
Oh, that's coming. That's coming.
Okay. And to close, this actually, I'm kind of fired up about. Trump has filed a lawsuit against the New York Times for saying during the campaign he was a failed businessman. And by all accounts, he was a failed businessman. Put this post up from the New York Times. It says, New York Times says President Trump accused the New York Times and 4 of its reporters of defaming him before the 2024 election, claiming it sought to undermine his candidacy and disparage his reputation. Okay, and basically the headline is Trump sues the New York Times for articles questioning his success. And you know what I say to that? Fucking bring it. Bring the discovery, because to prove his case, Donald Trump will have to provide his tax returns, his financial statements, his bank statements, all of the money that he spent, his accounts receivable and his accounts payable in discovery. And this is so delicious because he was, in fact, a failed businessman. So that is the part that I kind of am looking forward to.
He'll withdraw the lawsuit.
No, I know he will, but can I have it for 1 minute?
Yeah, but he will not do that. He's the most litigious person. He has a history of suing everybody all the time, nonstop, which is why the people that pre-surrendered and caved were so short-sighted and so motivated by fear of an 80-year-old man in poor health, poor cognitive decline, that they couldn't just buckle up, buttercups, and fight. He will withdraw. He'll tuck and roll out of this thing like he always does. Everything. This will not go far at all, because he is all hat, no cattle. Always has been, always will be. It will never get to discovery. He tried to sue Bill Maher once for calling him a orangutan. And it didn't. And Bill said, bring it on. Let's do it. Let's get to discovery. Let's prove it. Withdraws the lawsuit. This guy has filed more lawsuits than any person I've ever heard of in my life.
Yes, and he's filed them against people that don't have the resources he does, like contractors he hasn't paid, and they have to give up. No, I do like to think that we would get some discovery. I know we won't, but it just was a little light because, as we know, he's taco tits all day long, twice on Sunday. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we will be back later.